Tally-ho, ItsOcean, and I'm back for the first time in quite a while. Sorry about the lack of uploads, I've been burnt out. But it's finally time to talk about my favourite media of 2025. Now this is mostly going to be the usual same kind of setup that I've done in previous years, where I talk about a bunch of games, TV shows, anime, movies, etc. But in case this is your first time watching any of these videos from me, this video is not exactly going to be the best media that came out in 2025. It's going to be a roundup of my favourite things that I discovered in 2025. This means that yes, there can be things that came out in 2025, and I try to prioritise them in terms of like what was my favourite things of the year, but there will be other things from other years that I discovered for the first time this year. So let's get into it, shall we? If there was one game that surprised me in an unexpected way this year, it was Mafia: The Old Country. I don't really care much for Mafia and crime-related stories, if I'm being really honest, so I wasn't expecting much from this game. But I found myself gripped by this story. Mafia: The Old Country puts you in the shoes of Enzo, not a Ferrari, but a person. Enzo used to be a slave working in the sulfur mines of Sicily, but he finds himself being brought into the Torrisi crime family. Only problem is, he has fallen in love with Isabella. And Isabella is the daughter of the Don himself. This game's got drama, this game's got intrigue, this game's got betrayal, murder, and all kinds of crime-related storytelling. But what is strange about this game is, even though it shows you an open-world setting, you can't actually explore the open world. This game is actually very linear in its design. But I personally loved this, as it meant the story was always going, with no annoying breaks to try and force you into side contents like most open-world games tend to do. I'm personally not a fan of that, so I thought this was really cool, but they added an update that lets you free roam the open world. So that's cool, I guess. I also quickly have to talk about the soundtrack for this game. I love the soundtrack for this game. The main theme song of this game was stuck in my head every time I finished playing this game for the day. And another thing that is really excellent about this game is breathtaking. Every 2 seconds, I'm in the middle of a mission and some guy's like, hey, come over here and take out this bad guy with your gun. And I'm like, no, I'm looking at scenery, thank you very much. Just look at this. Mafia: The Old Country is my second favourite game that I played in 2025, and I did not expect that at all. It's got a tense story, great action, absolutely beautiful scenery, and a great soundtrack, which you've been hearing in the background. I highly recommend checking out Mafia: The Old Country. This year, I spent a lot of time checking out an old franchise, one of legendary merits with a big following behind it. A franchise filled with fog, creepy creatures, and a very specific focus on psychological horror. Yes, that's right, that franchise is indeed Hello Kitty. Okay, it's Silent Hill. So in 2024, Silent Hill 2 Remake, made by Bloober Team, came out, but I wasn't able to play it just yet, due to PlayStation and PC exclusivity. I'm fine, I swear, I'm fine. Still can't play Death Stranding 2 either. That's great, because my dumbass got an Xbox Series X and not a PS5. What were you thinking? Ocean? And I have gotta say, I really enjoyed it. Everyone has different opinions, and that's completely fine, but I don't really get all the hate that this game gets. Do I prefer the original? Sure, but I still had a great time with this game. And hey, at least it's better than the absolutely awful movie adaptation that they've made, where James doesn't look like James, Maria's hair looks like a cheap wig, and they bastardize everything that makes Silent Hill 2 so good! For those who may not know what Silent Hill 2 is about, you play as James Sunderland, a guy who has come to Silent Hill after receiving a letter from his wife, claiming she's waiting for him in their special place. The problem is, James' wife is dead.
My wife, she's dead.
So considering James is very clearly an intellectual, he goes to Silent Hill anyway, only to find horror and torture within. The original game's voice acting goes for more of a Twin Peaks kind of vibe. Characters feel sort of strange, like something isn't right. But the remake goes for a slightly more realistic interpretation of the source material. Maria's iconic jail scene comes to mind here, a scene of which I wasn't sure how to feel about it upon seeing it for the first time in the remake. But over time, I've really grown on it. The original has that Twin Peaks very strange kind of vibe to it.
James, honey, did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else?
But the remake almost sounds like Maria is mocking James instead.
James? Honey? Did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else?
It is two slightly different interpretations of the story, and I actually rather enjoyed that. I went into the game with a very open mind, and I came out of the experience feeling pretty good about it. The game also looks breathtakingly good. Exploring the town felt fresh all over again for me. Silent Hill 2 Remake also expands upon certain things. There are a couple of extra scenes added in. One of the particular boss battles I'm not going to talk about for spoiler reasons has been completely overhauled into this much bigger experience that I actually thought was very powerful. And Akira Yamaoka is back again to continue his absolute greatness and to redo some of this soundtrack. The combat in this game is a little bit more forced this time, but I really enjoyed it. It meant that I wasn't ignoring every fight and running past everything. And hey, I just want to quickly say, I know I've been saying a lot of positive things and I've been saying I don't get the hate to this game, but if you don't like the game, that's absolutely fine. We all have our own different opinions, everyone feels differently about literally everything, so it's fine if you don't like it. I'm not trying to be rude or insult anyone that may not like the game. This is just how I personally feel. And then we got the news that Bloober Team are also remaking Silent Hill 1. So I decided to finally take the plunge. And I played Silent Hill 1 for the first time ever. I had never played this game until 2025. And I have gotta say, for a game that's on the PlayStation 1, it holds up very well. Well, maybe not in the graphical department, but I enjoyed this game way more than I thought I would. In Silent Hill 1, you play as Harry Mason. Harry Mason gets into a car crash with his daughter. He passes out from the wreck, and when he wakes up, his daughter is gone. Therefore, he heads into the town to find that something is deeply wrong here. An occult has taken over this small, sleepy town. Silent Hill 1 is a very interesting story. It's kind of odd to talk about after talking about Silent Hill 2, because Silent Hill 1 and 2 are not the same thing. The second game is not exactly a sequel to the first game because it tells a different story. It sort of makes Silent Hill a different thing entirely. It's probably lower down on my list of stories for Silent Hill, but I can't exactly be mad at the game because this was the game that started it all. This is the game that started the entire franchise, and I still think there was a lot to like about this game's story. So after playing the game, I can wholeheartedly say that I'm very excited to see what the remake has in store. I'm so curious because this game could end up being expanded a hell of a lot more, and there could be a lot of really interesting things they could do with this game. Oh, I'm so excited. So, to finish off this rather large Silent Hill segment, I also checked out a new Silent Hill game. Silent Hilf. I wish it was Silent MILF. So, it's going to be really strange to talk about this game in this section, because I have very mixed feelings about this game. But I still ended up including this in my list. You see, Silent Hill F's combat takes a different approach from previous games, going for more of an almost Souls-inspired combat style, which I greatly disliked. Now, I have seen people saying, well, you don't play Silent Hill for the combat, it's usually bad. And sure, I get that. combat, but Silent Hill F's combat is forced on you a lot more than other Silent Hill games, and the combat in older titles was very simple in comparison. I found myself becoming more and more frustrated playing this game due to its tedious combat design and filler segments of the story where you are just in long corridors constantly fighting enemies. I actually quit playing about halfway through the game, and I ended up watching the rest of the story via YouTube. So to get into the story, Silent Hill F has you playing as new protagonist Hinako. Hinako is a teenager who lives in this very small town in Japan, and this game, interestingly enough, is set in the 60s. Hinako finds herself thrust into a nightmare when the town gets taken over by some sort of strange phenomena. The game often jumps back and forth between the town segments and this dark realm of ancient Japanese temples. And as cool as the temple sections can look, these sections often felt like a chore to get through, especially in terms of combat. So why did I keep this game on my list if I didn't even finish the game, if I didn't even enjoy playing the game? Well, you see, this game's story is phenomenal. The 60s was a very different time for women all over the world, and Hinako is unfortunately no different. Hinako faces a lot of societal pressures, and this game really delves deep into psychological territory of what it was like to be a woman in this era of Japan. And this story can stand toe-to-toe with some of Silent Hill's best narratives. One of the very bizarre things about this game, though, is you have to finish the game multiple times to actually see the full story, which is very interesting and unique. No spoilers from me, but when you finish the game, you don't really get a choice of ending. Nothing you do in the game results in any different form of ending. You always get the same ending, regardless. And then the idea is that you're supposed to do a new game plus and jump back into the game and replay the story, and this time things will be a little bit different. Certain cutscenes will play out in a slightly different way. Certain lines of dialogue might be different than they were before. And there can be things like additional items that you can find around the map that will then create some form of new ending. It is very, very cool. And also, I feel like with Silent Hill games, it doesn't really need to be said at this point, but this game is horrifically gorgeous. So overall, if you think that you might enjoy this game's kind of combat, then I would highly recommend checking out Silent Hill. I know I said I was ending the Silent Hill section there, but there's one last thing that I need to talk about. It's not a game in the series, it's not an experience of the series, it is the soundtrack. For all of these games, the soundtracks are almost always fantastic. So just to give you a bit of an example of how incredible these soundtracks can be, I want to play a couple of snippets from some of those songs.
Time flows, nobody knows. The years go by, where we go, alone from here.
This next entry technically came out in 2024, but it was on December the 26th, so I'm counting it as 2025, okay? Deal with it. And this next entry is, of course, Squid Game Seasons 2 and 3. This segment feels actually really weird for me to make, as to be honest, I didn't like Season 2 and 3 as much as Season 1, but they were still a good time. Seasons 2 and 3 had some really interesting things to say and evolved what Season 1 was already saying, but I feel that Seasons 2 and 3 should not have been split into 2 seasons and instead kept as one whole Season 2. Some of the games in these seasons were really goddamn good. Season 2 favourites would have been Mingle, a ring a ring a ring a ring a ring a ring, and for Season 3 my favourites had to be Hide and Seek. These 2 games in particular to me encapsulate everything that Squid Game is about. It captures that dark, raw, gritty reality of just how desperate people can be. Whereas if I'm being honest, the other 2 games in Season 2 I wasn't the biggest fan of. I wasn't a big fan of the fact that they did red light, green light again for Season 2. I understand what they were trying to do here, but it was a game that we had already seen before, and a lot of it almost went the exact same way that it did the first time. So I just found it a little bit dull to watch, even if they did try and change things up a little bit with Gi-hun. The second game I wasn't the biggest fan of just because of the tone. This is a situation where there is life or death happening here, and yet for some reason, even after people are gunned down, everyone's cheering and having a great time as if it's like a school sports day. What is happening here? Why are you cheering for this? Those people just got murdered. But the thing is, they don't seem to be cheering for the reasons that you would think they would be cheering for. They're cheering almost in camaraderie of, yeah, let's go guys, this is so much fun. And the more corrupt people within this group who are more than happy to see people die so that money amount can keep climbing higher and higher for them to obtain, even they are cheering when people win. It doesn't make sense. The whole tone of that game gave me whiplash. Even if I enjoyed watching them playing the game, the tone of it just messed everything up for me. And then Season 3, in terms of the games, I loved all of them. I have nothing wrong to say about any of them. Good stuff. I do have to say though, I'm not going to go into spoilers once again, don't worry, but I am at least going to mention one of the story arcs that fell flat on its goddamn face in Seasons 2 and 3, and that is the detective! Oh my god, I hated the detective part in this show in Seasons 2 and 3. In Season 1, he was our eyes and ears behind the scenes, showing us what was really going on and trying to investigate. It was tense, it was interesting. But then in Season 2 and 3, he spends like so many episodes on a goddamn boat! And it's just, oh, are we there yet? No, let's look at the next. Oh, that's not the right one. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Oh, that's the right. No, that's not the right one. Ah! That story goes nowhere by the end. There's like one little thing that happens, and then that's kind of it. And then nothing. It's it felt like such a waste of time. And I think for me, that's the reason why Seasons 2 and 3 fell a little bit flat in comparison to the first season. The first season to me is like lightning in a bottle. It was just perfect.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
But yes, I still included it on the list because it still was quite exciting. It was like, it felt like this big moment when Seasons 2 and 3 came out. And I still, for the most part, had a good time with it. Alright, up next I have actually got a bit of a shorter section here, because in 2025 I checked out a fan mod called Biorand is a fan-made mod of the original Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. It is a randomizer, so of course it adds a bunch of different randomization options that really goes above and beyond. You can randomize the items, randomize the runes, randomize the enemy. Oh dear mother of God! You can also randomize the character models, which will also then add in their voice lines. And this makes for some hilarious moments. Marvin!
Wonderful! Can't leave in winter, and it gets so lonely here.
Don't worry about me. Just rescue the survivors in the other rooms.
Cold! Oh, so cold!
This guy needs to warm his hands up.
Not bad.
If
She's looking at his dick! She's looking at his dick! What the fuck?
You're finished.
She finished him!
I can smell your fear!
Ew. Stop looking at his dick!
It looks like...
Randomizing these games can make them so much harder, and sometimes a little bit broken. I've had to restart Resident Evil 2, which I've recently been playing a bunch of times because none of the key items appear, and then I can't continue. But it also makes this game so chaotic in such a fun way. Fucking... What do you mean? What are you... Hello? I don't want to press the button. I'm gonna get my ass pounded. There's a plate on her. Ow, 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 ow. I just got annihilated. Holy shit. Oh my god. I have had an absolute blast playing through Resident Evil 1 on Biorand, and I absolutely recommend checking this out if you are a fan of Resident Evil or survival horror. So I am rather late to checking out this next entry. My partner persuaded me to try out the next entry in this list, Lead Tassel.
Practice starts at 11 o'clock. If you are not stretched 5 minutes early, then you are 45 minutes late. Do you understand me? Touch your toes. Those are your feet fingers. Let's go, dummies. Touch your toes. And touch each other's toes. What? You heard me.
Lead Tassel.
I mean Ted Lasso. I meant Ted Lasso. This TV show has names in like Jason Sudeikis, Anthony Head, and also Hannah Waddingham, who I find unreasonably attractive. Ted Lasso is the story of an American man who finds himself being hired to manage an English football team. And I have to say, Ted is the most charming and lovely man you could ever meet, even if he hates tea.
How do you take your tea?
Well, usually I take it right back to the counter because someone's made a horrible mistake. But when in Rome, right?
Well,
you know, I always figured that tea was just going to taste like hot brown water. And you know what? I was right. Yeah, it's horrible. No, thank you.
The tea was just made badly, Ted. Trust me, tea is actually really good when you know how to make it properly. So Ted has an uphill battle with this football club, dealing with a manipulative boss who gets way better over time, and I still have an unreasonably large crush on her. There are strong egos, and Ted is far from home, but over time, you watch as he completely wins over everyone around him. It is truly heartwarming to watch, and honestly, it's inspiring. In a time like this, when it feels like everyone thinks empathy and wholesomeness is cringe or lame, it's awesome to see a guy like Ted trying to keep the idea of having a good heart alive. We need way less negativity, way less edginess, and way more people like Ted in this world. Oh, and this show's also a comedy, and it is very funny.
get your hairy ass into my office now!
Every single one of you knows my ass isn't hairy, yet none of you spoke up. And I will never forgive you. He's right. We're cowards.
Sunday I get to put the final nail in the ashes. It's the caramel. It's gonna get you.
Oops, innit? Well said.
When you gonna win a game, you fucking wanker?
Hey, Baz, fellas, this is my wife, Michelle.
Absolute pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Lasso.
Jamie Tart is a muppet, and I hope he dies of the incurable condition of being a little bitch.
So I highly recommend Ted Lasso. The latest season, to be honest, has felt a little bit messy to me, but the overall show is fantastic, and me and my partner still quote lines from this show every day. He's here, he's there, he's every fucking word I can. Got another quick segment here for Final Fantasy XIV, specifically the Arcadion. The Arcadion is the latest series of raids in Final Fantasy XIV. We've been getting parts of the Arcadion added through patches over time, and these fights are so fun! The devs really tapped into their creativity for these fights, with each fight feeling completely different from the last. Without any spoilers, the idea of the Arcadion is it's this big, sort of like cyber arena of sorts, and the enemies you go up against can tap into the powers of different creatures. So one character is a J-pop style idol, and her whole gimmick is bees, and these fights are absolutely my favourite experience that I have had with Final Fantasy XIV so far. Yeah, that's the main reason why I added this to the list, the fights. Yep. Okay, the main reason that I added this to the list was the music. With so many different gimmicks and themes for these fights, there had to be music to match, and match it does. There's frantic thrash metal as you try your hardest to stay alive. there's cutesy idol J-pop. There's some interesting rap. There is a literal disco fight. And there's just an insanely good goddamn fight song.
Never had a choice, never let the ops win. Calm them nerves, got the whole world watching. Ready, set, go, and there ain't no stopping. Only one option, light it up.
There's also a Dommy Mommy fight in this game, so that's the real reason why this is on the list. I'm not a simp, okay? Stop calling me that! The next entry on the list is a very weird one. You see, earlier this year, I found myself checking out the music of 21 Pilots. I then found out that 21 Pilots has this whole buttload of lore to check out that the fans seem very passionate about. So I decided to check it out. The lore is sort of strange and sometimes kind of feels like they were just making things up as they went along, but it's fun and interesting, and honestly, I wish more bands made stuff like this. The lore follows main character Clancy and his fight against tyrannical dictators, who kind of look like Sith Lords from Star Wars. These guys rule over the city of Dima in a continent called Trench. We see Clancy escape Dima, join up with a gang of revolutionaries, and try to find the means to free Dima. It's pretty compelling stuff, though it sometimes feels a little silly. Yeah, I'm vibing. Check me out. So feel free to go and check that out if you're interested. I'll leave a link in the description. The sun rises, as it always does. People go about their lives and their usual routines. But today, routine becomes chaos. You see, the sun is overheating to an immense degree, and it is no longer safe for humans to go out in the daytime. So they go out at night instead. But something new rises from the earth. You get a knock at the door in the night. You get up and peek through the door to see... this is not a human. So this year, I checked out No, I'm Not a Human, and it quickly became one of my favourite experiences of the year. The idea here is a pretty simple game, where some strange new humanoid-like creatures called visitors have risen from the ground, killing any humans that they can. They look like us, they talk like us, they act like us, but they are something different. You play as a random guy, holed up in his house, trying to avoid the harsh sunlight and these creatures. Every night, people will knock on your door looking for shelter, and you get to decide if they can stay with you or not. The thing is, some of these people may very well be visitors. So you make them do tests. You check their eyes, their teeth, any signs to check if they are a visitor. After all, if you don't make sure, it could cost you dearly. It's a very simple game with a bunch of different endings that you can achieve, and there are a lot of different people to meet, and most characters knocking on your door can be randomized, which keeps the game feeling exciting. There's Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad, a singing cultist, and they also got Cotton Hill in this game too. Wait a minute. What the fuck? Severance Season 2. Oh boy! I absolutely adored Season 1 of Severance when it came out, and Season 2 is even better! Season 1 laid all the groundwork for the mysteries that this show has, but Season 2 finally starts to reveal some of those answers to some of its most intriguing and mystifying questions. I previously talked about Severance Season 1 on this channel, so if you want to go and check that out, feel free, but in case you don't know what Severance is, there is a man sat in a car, crying his eyes out. He wipes his eyes with a tissue before putting the tissue in his pants pocket. He gets his lanyard, he gets out of the car, and he goes into work for a company called Lumen. He strangely goes down to a basement-like area. He puts his belongings aside and picks up a new lanyard before going down an elevator. But Mark all of a sudden has a smile on his face. He struts down the hallway with pride and joy. What is going on here? The idea here is that Mark is two people. This is because of a chip that has been put inside his brain by the company of Lumen that allows him to split his home life and his work life into separate entities. So what you're seeing here is two different entities within one body, and this is happening for almost everybody in this company. But who is Lumen? What are Lumen doing? Why do they have this strange chip in people's heads? Why does everything in this company feel so weird and oddly religious? These are the mysteries that Severance Season 1 sets up. And they are goddamn amazing storylines. I love this show, but Season 2 finally started to give us more answers on what is going on here, while also setting up even more strange things. And this is such a strange part of this video to try and talk about, because Season 2 is basically all about the spoilers of Season 1. It continues all the plot threads of Season 1, so I don't really feel like I can talk about this very much without getting into spoilers, which I don't want to do because this show is fucking phenomenal. The last episode of Season 1, mwah, just a tense thrill ride from start to finish. And the last episode of this season as well genuinely made me cry. Absolutely goddamn phenomenal show. Severance is by far one of the best TV shows that has been on lately. Please go and check it out. Please, 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 it is absolutely worth it. And oh hey, Severance is on Apple Plus, and so is Ted Lasso, so you could go and check that out as well if you wanted to. This isn't sponsored, by the way, I just really love those two shows. Superman. I loved this film. It was so goddamn good. I am one of those people who has never really had an interest in Superman. I always thought he was a little bit too corny, a little bit too boring, for me personally. But the new movie is absolutely goddamn fantastic and has made me a fan. I'm actually excited to see what comes next from this universe. So the new Superman movie is directed by James Gunn. And James Gunn, I'd say, has a pretty good track record with superhero properties. But this Superman movie was absolutely phenomenal. It was inspiring. It was motivating. It made me want to be a better person. Just like Ted Lasso. I kind of want Superman and Ted Lasso to meet. You know what? I have an idea. Let's get Superman to manage Richmond FC, and let's let Ted Lasso manage the eventual Justice League. One of the things that I absolutely love about this movie is how it makes a bit of a statement about how wholesomeness and kindness is punk rock these days, because, like I said in the Ted Lasso section, there's not enough of it in the world anymore. I have to say as well, I really love the way that they shot this movie. There's a lot of very strange but interesting camera movements that makes everything feel fast-paced and fluid. It makes fight scenes feel chaotic without turning the fight scene into a jumbled mess where you can't see what the hell is going on. I felt like all the characters were very interesting in this film as well. There's a bunch of different side characters. You've got like Nathan Fillion playing this really like douchey version of a Green Lantern, but in a very funny way.
You look, I'm a Green Lantern, lady. That means I took a vow not to get involved in politics.
Oh, that's part of the vows.
It's implied, yeah.
You've got Hawk Girl, who was, yeah, she just kicks the shit out of stuff. That was pretty cool. Jimmy is actually quite funny and interesting in this movie as well. For some reason, all the girls want him, and he is so done with it. He doesn't have any interest. He doesn't care about these women that are constantly hitting on him. And it's like all these supermodel babes like, oh my god, Jimmy, do you want my number? And he's just like, oh, which I thought was hilarious. I've got to say as well, the chemistry between Clark and Lois was fantastic in this film. Like, you could really tell that these two just wanted, you know, a little It's going to feel really weird talking about this because this character was actually quite hateful. So talking about how we need more wholesomeness in the world and then saying my favourite character was the next character feels a little bit odd. But by far my favourite character was Lex Luthor in this. I did not know that Nicholas Hoult would be able to play the hater of the year, but here he is. He was so funny. He was such a fucking asshole all the time. But it made for some very funny and entertaining moments.
We finally meet. Would you like a coffee?
Where's the dog?
Dog?
The dog, Luthor! You took the dog! He's just a dog.
I don't know what dog you're talking about. Ugly dog in a cape.
What did you say?
Superman was absolutely fantastic, and I absolutely recommend it. You could say the film was super. A movie came out in 2025 that has had a chokehold on me since I watched it. A movie that's ended up being something more beautiful and captivating than I ever could have imagined. Chainsaw Man Reze Arc. This movie follows on from Chainsaw Man Season 1 and tells the story of an incredibly tragic main character and the new quirky girl he quickly starts to fall in love with. I won't get into spoilers, but this story isn't what you think it may be. It is still Chainsaw Man after all, and Fujimoto knows how to break our hearts in every possible way! I absolutely fell in love with this movie, because though Chainsaw Man may be this over-the-top, sometimes a little too edgy and gory shonen series about a guy who has a chainsaw head sometimes, it has an incredible amount of heart and depth to it. There is a lot of well-written, relatable, and very human characters in Chainsaw Man, and the Reze arc continues to build upon its own greatness. I am not kidding when I say that this guy has become one of my favourite characters in media ever. And while I do like me some boobs as well, I can assure you that this actually means way more than it seems. This guy is actually talking about how he craves affection because he didn't have any in his fucked up childhood and he just wants people to love him. I swear this is a metaphor. The story for the Reze arc movie is absolutely beautiful, and the animation is absolutely incredible, from epic fights to heartwarming memories. And oh my god, the pool scene! The pool scene!
教えてあげる。デンジ君の知らないこと、できないこと、私が全部教えてあげる。
Shout out to Kensuke Ushio, who has very quickly become one of my favourite composers. The music in this movie ranges from epic battles to quiet, introspective moments. Kensuke Ushio never misses, and I will watch his career with great interest. One of the best things about the Reze arc movie is how well it adapts the manga. This movie is one of the best adaptations that I have ever seen. The movie even changed its art style from season 1 to better match the manga art, and that is insane to me. After watching this movie, I finally decided to check out the manga too. I am now fully caught up with Chainsaw Man, and it is incredible. Anime watchers are not ready for what comes next. I am so excited to see all of this goodness animated in the future. Oh, the reactions are going to be insane. Overall, Chainsaw Man Reze arc moved me to tears. It reminded me of my youth, the innocence, the beauty of newfound love, experiencing new things, and exploring the unknown. This movie may have had a whole giant battle segment and all the crazy action in the world, but my favourite parts were the quieter moments, the cinema, the festival, the pool scene. This movie meant a great deal to me, and I can't help but want to thank everyone who made this. So I'm going to thank them one by one right now. Alright, first off, we've got Kensuke Ushio. Okay, fine, I'm not doing that. That would take absolutely forever. But seriously, thank you to every single person that worked on this wonderful and beautiful masterpiece. My heart is yours. Okay. Before I get into the final thing, I do have some honourable mentions that weren't included in this list, things that I originally considered adding to this list. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Really, really fun game. Had a good time with that. Good stuff. Troy Baker does a really good Indiana Jones voice. Split Fiction, a game that I played with my partner in our own time. It didn't quite live up to the hype of A Way Out and It Takes Two for me personally, but I still think it was an excellent, very, very fun experience. And no spoilers, but that ending gameplay segment blew my fucking mind. That was incredible, so thank you for making that, because that was awesome. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, still really fun, really goofy, really silly. It added a lot of new, interesting and excellent content that was well worth replaying the game. Thumbs up. And the last one is Thunderbolts, a Marvel movie that shouldn't have been anywhere near as good as it actually was. It had no right going that hard, but I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Some of those I literally only cut to just shorten the video just a little bit so it doesn't get too long, otherwise Thunderbolts absolutely would have been in this list as well. If you can't tell, I don't watch many movies. Next year though, I promise, next year I'm going to watch more. I promise you, there's going to be much more movies next year. The final entry to this list, and oh my fucking god, is it an incredible entry. Gamers out there, you may know where this is going. This is going to be very, very predictable. Yes, it's Expedition 33. I can wholeheartedly say that my game of the year for 2025 is a popular pick. I can't deny that, but there is a very good reason for that. You see, this game absolutely blew me away with its presentation, its powerful story, and its absolutely insane soundtrack. I'm not kidding when I say that that song is one of my favourite final boss songs I've ever fucking heard in my life. It is so goddamn hype. I love when final boss songs are a mix of emotional and hype. It's just like, ah! Expedition 33 is a game about loss and the grief that comes after. It's a game about perseverance and hope in the face of certain death. And it is also a game about hot characters, oh yeah! In Expedition 33, you play as a party of fighters as they try to put a stop to the Paintress, a giant being who paints numbers on a giant monolith. However, the numbers are counting back from 100, erasing everyone at that particular age. Expedition teams have been sent out every year for decades, and no one has ever returned. So it's safe to say that things are going very well. I really can't talk too much about this game's story, as I would have to get into spoilers, but I can say without a shadow of a doubt that Expedition 33 is truly a special story. It's a very human story that deals with some very heavy topics. It's a story that is so incredibly well written, I haven't stopped thinking about it since I finished the game. Oh, and to get to a slightly negative part of the video, I have something that I need to say. No spoilers once again, but both endings are good and valid. There is no correct ending, and if you think that that is the case, you did not understand the story that this game was going for. Both endings are good. They have their pros and their cons. It's not all good or just all bad. Anyway, getting back on track, Expedition 33 has some of the most beautiful scenery that I've ever seen in a game. The fact that a small team can make this is pure insanity to me. I have to say, this soundtrack. This soundtrack was made by Lorian Testard. I respect the hell out of this guy. This guy had never made music for a game before. And then here he is in 2025, playing his music live at the Game Awards. That is such a baller move. So, instead of just talking for a while about how I thought the soundtrack was great and it was really cool and it was really lovely, I'm just going to play a snippet of some of the songs.
Navigate allumine, navigate assovrare, Madannora, Vallatera, Madannora, Vallatera.
I can wholeheartedly say that this game shines from start to end. The acting is fantastic, the soundtrack is fantastic, the scenery is fantastic, the combat, while not being to my personal taste, is still fantastic. This is a truly beautiful, complex, and wonderful story about many different kinds of character, where no one is ever really villainized or made out to be the good guy at the same time. It's really, really interesting how they manage to balance all of these characters, and I think that should absolutely be commended. Expedition 33 is a truly special game, something that I did not expect to like this much. Hell, I don't think the entire world expected this game to be this good. Some may say that it's overrated. Fair enough if you feel that way. Everyone feels different at the end of the day. But this game is truly special. Something that will live on for eons and will be considered a classic in the coming years. I, for one, I'm so goddamn happy that I got to see this, that I got to experience this, that I got to hear this soundtrack, that I got to play this wonderful, goddamn phenomenal game. And I wholeheartedly recommend it for those who come after. And thus ends another year of media. Another fantastic, amazing year of media that I had. I also do want to quickly say that there was a bunch of stuff here that I've actually Let's Played over on my Let's Play channel. Mafia the Old Country, a bunch of Silent Hill games, Biorand, No I'm Not a Human, Expedition 33. So anyway, let me know what you think about any of that stuff in the comment section down below. What was on your list of favourites media from 2025? But thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.